we rooted in community, and that's how we built everything that you see here today. Even at BizCon, it's still rooted in community. And that's what got me most interested in it from a policy level. Once I saw that when you actually bring people together, you can create change, I was like, oh.
I left LA for MJBiz. I'm with green rebates, the best there is. If you're working with us, you can't grow mids. I take a hit and can't finish my sentences. Welcome back to the Money Talks podcast. I am now sitting down with the one and only Marilyn Jane. You got it tattooed on your arm.
I do. It makes it easy.
Show them the tattoo. Fire. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. How you feel? How's MJBiz 25 been for you?
Honestly, so far so great. This is my 7th MJBiz, and every year I love that it gets bigger, better. It's more inclusive than ever this year, something that I love to see from them. I love that they have an Indigenous feature here. They have the Indigenous Village, so they're featuring all kinds of new things for us to really lock into and understand the culture behind the driving force of what's happening in business here. So, yeah.
And when you come to an event like MJBiz, what do you like? What's the main thing you're hoping to get out of it?
I love to look at the trends. So what's coming, what's kind of moving, what we're moving away from, what we're entering into for the next year or so. Genetics are always my favorite thing to go look at. Like, what seeds do you guys have? What's going to be coming out, so that we can look down the pipeline and get excited about different things that are coming, and just planning ahead for, honestly, just the expansion. So it kind of goes hand in hand with policy. And so my vision here is always looking through that lens of like, what's happened in the last 6 months to the year that's affected these businesses, these owners. What do we need to do moving forward to like team up, to collaborate, and to make the next chapter of this look better than the last one? So that's what I'm here to do, is just like see it through that perspective and connect with people that are also on that same wavelength.
Love it. So you're obviously a forward-thinking person. Where does that come from?
I've always been a visionary. I think in cannabis, that's one of the number one things that you have to have in you, is the ability to pivot and the ability to see beyond what's being presented to you, right? So I think that it stems from just my natural inclination of having a father that's an engineer and a mother that's an artist. I think that combination alone just kind of instilled some kind of vision in me. And in cannabis, like I said, I think that's the number one thing that helps you keep moving forward, is you're able to assess better when you know you can see the future. You know, you're like, I see it, it's going to happen. And I've seen it happen so many times in terms of legalization. And so that's what excites me about the future in cannabis. Yeah.
Amazing. So how'd you first get into cannabis?
I got into cannabis in 2014. I have a really, I think, a great cute, neat story of how I got in. But I had just started my own marketing company. My background's in digital marketing at the time, okay? I worked for a smaller boutique marketing firm that grew very quickly, and they threw a bunch of cannabis clients at me at the time. I didn't have much knowledge of cannabis.
Were you a consumer at the time, or were you just?
Not even so much. I got my card when I had first moved to California, just because it was medical, and I was from Philadelphia, so I wanted to have that experience of smoking cannabis legally. And that's what introduced me to the market. But once I got into the marketing of it, I was like, this is so interesting. It's in tandem with policy. It's changing faster than any other industry. And so I kept going and trying to pitch my local dispensary about my marketing services. And they're like, look, cannabis sells itself. Like, you're not getting it. We don't need traditional marketing avenues. We don't need social media. We don't need it. I mean, look at us now. It's amazing, because we're like, what's your Instagram? What's your this? And unfortunately, we're still fighting the good fight against like the Instagram gods and what's happening with censorship. But back then it was looked at as like, we've got weed maps, and that's what we lock in on. So I was like, let me in, let me do my thing. And I promise that you'll see growth. I promise, just, knocking at the door. Fast forward to a couple years later, after developing that initial relationship with them, they had somebody, I walked in one day, it was a frenzy in there, and one of their people at the front desk had quit. And they said, look, like, you've always wanted to shoot your shot. If you'll just take this position to help us out, we will let you do our marketing. And that's really just how it started. Streamlined, realized that they needed SOPs, realized that there was a lot of things that I brought into that group at the time that they could learn from and grow from a real like business development standpoint. And it was great. We were able to grow together and activate like so many different things as far as initiatives. I've worked on different political action committees. We've legalized 2 cities. It's been an amazing ride so far. And that's how it all started. So yeah, back in 2014. It's been a long road.
So marketing is your bread and butter, would you say?
Marketing, branding, it really just stems from what you had just touched on in being a visionary, you know? It's just like, I see it, and oftentimes I'll meet people and they're like, I'm like, ooh, you need to know this person. And I just naturally want to connect them. And they're like, oh, you can take a piece of the action or whatever it is. I'm to the point now where I want to see the industry accelerate so much further than where it's at, that I would just more happily introduce you and hope that it grows on its own, naturally, organically. And just feel good about the fact that I know you two are powerhouses that are going to make something happen. So,
awesome.
Yeah, that's
just
where
connect dots and expect nothing in return, because it will come back to you
It
later.
will come back to you, and that's what our community roots are like. We rooted in community, and that's how we built everything that you see here today. Even at BizCon, it's still rooted in community. And that's what got me most interested in it from a policy level. Once I saw that when you actually bring people together, you can create change, I was like, oh, I can do that then. I can bring people together. I know how to connect the right people. I know how to talk the talk and walk the walk. I learned a lot from different strategists along the way. And now I think, anyway, that we have a real chance at fighting the good fight that we see going on federally. I think states are starting to see the benefit of collaboration, and I think that's where we're headed. So, yeah.
And MJBiz 25 is like, we're talking about marketing. Someone walking by is wearing our green rebates hat.
Oh my gosh,
right
I see it right
so
there.
I'm pretty proud of that moment I just had.
Honestly, this was my favorite activation so far. You guys are, this was, as far as marketing goes, I can't speak to a better booth that I've seen here so far.
I didn't pay her to say that.
I don't say that lightly. I do have a lot of friends here, and you guys have done a great job, but this is the booth. If you're at MJBizCon, highly recommend coming here. It's pretty, I would say they killed it on every level. The hats right here, I can't wait for mine. That's the part that I'm most excited about. But you guys have mini golf. That was something that I was super excited to have an activity. I'm not just walking up and saying hi, I get an activity too. So yeah, thank you guys for providing a little bit of play in the day. It really helps break everything up. And yeah, thank you guys.
That's a perfect segue, because I want to ask, as a marketing expert, like MJBiz 25 is like the marketing practice of the year. It's a huge exercise in marketing for every brand. Some brands go a little bit harder than others, but like it's loved to everyone. Question I have for you is, besides our booth, which you just said very nice things about, what are some marketing tactics other companies are using that you're like, wow, that's a great idea? Or what's really caught your eye this year?
Okay, so that's a great question, and I just took my badge off, but they're over at Advanced Nutrients. They've got a lot of things going on, but they have, you spin a wheel, you get a prize. That part's great. You spin a wheel, you get the chance to use the hand crane. They've got, great options as far as what they have for their prizes. They've got basically their entire Newt line. They've got a starter pack. Again, no affiliation, not paid to say it, but the thing that I think is coolest that they did is they're giving everybody a pin with a number on it. And your number, there's 2 of them in the conference. So you're walking around, everybody's got these pin badges on with a number, and you're supposed to find your twin. And when you find your twin, if you both walk over to the booth together, you can win $500. As long as you find the number that matches yours, that's all you have to do is be on the lookout and be scouting and make sure that your badge is somewhere that people can see it, promoting Advanced Nutrients at the same time, and then you could win $500. So I thought, from the standpoint of being present at BizCon, that's a really great way to stay focused on someone's brand the entire conference.
Totally.
So, yeah.
You're always thinking about it, because you're looking at numbers and Advanced Nutrients.
Advanced Nutrients, $500, $500. Are you my twin? Are you my twin? I've had several people walk up, oh my gosh, 88. Oh, the last one's not it. So it's something that it's gamified, it's engaging. I love that.
Totally.
I love to see that, yeah.
Totally. And
absolutely.
So you're getting into the cannabis industry, and back to, what does like a day in the life look like for you? Because I feel like you have one of those jobs where no 2 days are the same.
Ever, yeah. I mean, it's really interesting working for yourself, right? Because having done business development now, I pivoted out of having actual dispensaries for myself in the 215 era. So now that it's been a whirlwind of being in consulting, every day is different. You're not wrong about that, but I meet the demand of the market. So what people are looking for, I'm typically quiet for periods of time, trying to assess what the market may need. And then once I find that and I address it with several people and that becomes what I'm doing, then every day becomes about whatever that is. So it really is just about identifying trends and meeting the needs of the market for me all the time. I wake up every morning, I have the feeds that I look at, I connect with women organically all throughout the cannabis industry just because I want to show support and love to them. A lot of C-suite executives don't have the support they need emotionally through the process of things, and because it can be very tasking, I wake up to anywhere from like 5 to 40 DMs from people that are just like, oh, hey, do you know somebody that knows something about this? Oh, I'm really going through this right now. Did you experience this as a purchaser? So I go through a lot of just going through messages and trying to genuinely keep connection alive with people, again, because I'm not looking for any compensation for it. That's my thing, is really just making sure that I'm connecting with people that I want to support and doing that any step and every way that I can. So I take sound bites into consideration. Last night I went to Blunt Brunch. It's, in my opinion, one of the best women's events that you could be a part of in the industry. And it's a really great group of uplifting women. But getting to connect with people in person here at MJBiz it's the best feeling in the world after a year of connecting online, you know? And so I really look to that community and look to empower and support the women in that community daily, because I know I get to see them at the end of the year, and I want to be able to track along the way like how I can support whatever anyone else is doing. So a day in the life for me really looks like, how can I help, how can I support? And yeah, for me right now, that's where I'm at. It's a really cool place to be. I've worked so hard to be here. Days used to look like I would work 60, 70-hour weeks trying to get licensing approved in cities, or making sure that everything was good at the grow, or we're trying to source for new packaging, or, we're looking at production. But now I've really simplified it into, how can I support? How can I show up? What do people need? What's going on in the airwaves? What policy is coming that I could take language from and bite-size it for people that maybe don't understand the bigger picture, So, yeah.
Amazing. So the businesses that reach out to you, what are some common questions that they're asking, or what are like some of the first inquiries?
Most recently, it's about the changes in policy for what just passed under everybody's watchful eye with the hemp.
In Texas.
Yeah, well, what Trump had just passed in the big, beautiful bill about the Hemp Act, people are not understanding that it is going to take the states coming together again in order to be able to collaboratively bring it to the table of what's happening federally and move it out of the hands of big tobacco and pharma. So those are honestly like the nitty-gritty questions that I get more than not, are about those things. How is it going to affect me? What is that? Like, what's the actual policy mean for my business? Is it something that I need to worry about today? I heard it's a year out. Is that okay? So it's really things like that. And then if I don't know the answer, I'm working on connecting with attorneys who do, or lobbyists who do, or people that I know that are like feet on the ground or doing more advocacy work. So
how much of your job is research? It seems like a lot.
Yeah, a lot. A lot of times people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, researching. Wow. And it's like, okay, yeah. But the activation part of it really comes in handy when it's, it's in real time. I'm like, oh, well, I know this, and I know that, and I know you, and I know them. You're good.
What are some common marketing mistakes you see maybe new brands make?
A lot of brands will believe that because they have a background in marketing from other industries, that they know marketing for the cannabis industry. And that may be true, right? There are certain guidelines that apply throughout, right? It's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But within the cannabis guidelines of what's allowed and not allowed on packaging, I think those are the things that people overlook when they're creating something. They overlook the regulation of whatever it is for that city or state. And they could miss the mark on what that consumer wants just by mislabeling. They lose a bunch of packaging, they lose a bunch of time. And in the same stroke, they could have put all of that energy into knowing what that customer wants in that state, tailoring the packaging to be something unique and fun for that demographic, and not dealing with any of the regulatory issues that constantly come up for them. So yeah, that's a big one. I think people don't look at the consultants that work in that industry. I don't think that they're given enough credit. I think people say, oh, I don't want to outsource, I'll just do it in-house. But the benefit of outsourcing something like that is that you get it right the first time. That person knows the compliance of it, and they're going to make sure that you're not led astray. So yeah, I see that. As far as packaging goes, that's one of the marketing things that I see going wrong in a lot of ways.
Interesting. So, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then like with branding, when you go to, I guess maybe this is old, maybe a few years ago, but when you go to cannabis dispensaries, there's a lot of like knockoffs of Fruity Pebbles and repurposing of like old recognizable cereal brands.
Absolutely.
What's your take on that? Because I was never a fan.
I stick to classic. I really like clean packaging. I like the packaging that is, of course, like exciting, right? So what my favorite thing that companies do is, best thing you could do, collaborate with a cannabis artist or an artist that focuses on something ancillary to the cannabis industry, and that's a super, super premium artist. Collaborate with them on your packaging. If you don't know what to do with your packaging, if you're recreating childhood or memories, collaborate with an artist that can do it in an interpretive way so that you're not edging or moving into that sticky area of, does this mimic something that a child would want? Does this mimic something that they're going to pick up out of the cabinet, or, you know, if it's in mom's wherever?
Yeah, and just be more creative. Like, create your own logo. Like,
we have thousands of artists, thousands and thousands and thousands. That's what the cannabis culture has, a community of musicians, artists, digital artists. We've got AI art now. Bring them in. If your company is looking for new ways to like spruce up your brand, do a collaboration. It doesn't have to be forever, but that goes a long way.
And that's, you know, a lot of the successful people that I have come across are people who have, you know, had a longevity in not just this industry, in whatever industry they're in. Like, something that they all have in common is that like they admit when they suck at something, and that when they need to outsource, and they will always, they're like, I just talked to someone earlier today who's got an amazing brand in business, and he's like, I am a lot of times the dumbest person in the room, and I am proud to admit that I'm the dumbest person.
That's the best place to be, because you're the sponge, right? And you're like, tell me more, tell me more. Yeah, I love that. I love when people can share that, though, because if you show up and you know everything, what do you get to walk away with?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
why are you even, right?
Yeah.
Are you only collabing with people just to prove that you know more than, yeah.
Where's the fun? Where's the fun? But yeah, my tagline for many years has been collaboration over competition, and I stand firmly to that in the cannabis industry. That is one of the core principles, and I think this year I have seen a lot of collaboration. So Biz is collaborating with a lot of smaller brands, which is really great, and I can't wait to see like how things continue to grow from here. So. Yeah, thank you so much, though. I'm really excited to have been able to sit down and talk to you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And where can people find you?
Yes.
If people want to reach out, if they have questions about policy or anything business development related.
If you're a woman in cannabis and you just want to talk to me about being a woman in cannabis, that's my favorite thing to do in the world, and I'm happy to support you and connect you in any way, shape, or form that I can. I am able to be found right now, Instagram at Marilyn Jane XO. And yeah, thank you so much again. This has been so much fun.
Thank you so much, Marilyn.
I hope you have a great business.
You're the best. Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wrote a rebate check. 500K, call free money. You could change your life in a day.